Well, hey guys, welcome back, and it looks like the curse of The Last of Us Part 2 has continued on with the HBO show The Last of Us, with Season 2 getting absolutely demolished on Metacritic as well as Rotten Tomatoes. Of course, Paul Tassi over at Forbes comes out and says HBO's The Last of Us review bombing surpasses the game's review bombing, basically saying that anybody who has legitimate criticisms of this show, of the second season, legitimate criticisms of the storyline of The Last of Us Part 2, the game, is just a toxic, evil, review-bombing bigot, people who didn't even watch the show that are just here to downvote it. And again, here's the thing, guys. A lot of people like me, people who didn't play the games, people who aren't interested in watching the show because of the cast, the story, everything having to do with it, I don't care. I didn't take my time to go review bomb it. I do not believe that every single person who left a negative review never watched it or never played the games. I'm sorry. The reality is, they tried to market this show to a new audience. They're not trying to focus on the game audience. They're trying to capture this niche modern audience by casting people like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in this show. And it just didn't work, because when they finally got people to watch Season 1 because of Pedro Pascal's supposed star power, I don't understand. I feel like the guy is completely insufferable, but people seem to like him. They then killed him off, spoiler, in Season 2, exactly the way they did in the game. And it did not set well with these weird, sycophant fans that they've, found for the show. And of course, it caused them to lash out. Go figure. Which is why you're seeing that the reviews over here on Rotten Tomatoes are not good. The show is sitting at a 39% with the fans right now. Not much better over on Metacritic. I think it's a 5.8 out of 10. So definitely a little better on Metacritic, but absolutely awful reviews. And of course, it's going to get even better now, because they're already saying that The Last of Us is going to require a 4th season just to wrap up the second game, I guess. I don't know if they're projecting this to be a 4th season to include a 3rd game. I know that Naughty Dog, the developers of Last of Us Part 1 and 2, are working on a, quote, secret game, because right now they have that intergalactic game coming out next year, I do believe, as well as some secret project that they're working on and Neil Druckmann is producing. So it's very possible that they are looking at having a 3rd game out sometime in the next year or two. Of course, that would give the show more material to work with. That maybe will justify a 4th season. But again, I don't think that this is going to work without Pedro Pascal. And again, my own distaste for Pedro Pascal aside, I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as an actor. I don't get it. I don't understand the fanfare around this guy. He was the only draw the show had. So of course, now that they've killed him off, we are left with the utter insufferable cringe and strange physiognomy that is Bella Ramsey, the they-them product of Hollywood. Again, this is a child that was raised in Hollywood, where you can tell that Hollywood completely screwed with her brain to the point where she now identifies as a they-them instead of an actual biological female. Again, because of the DLC in the game, they made Ellie a lesbian, which of course kind of tied into Part 2 being exceptionally woke, which of course made for a perfect pairing for these two on The Last of Us Season 2. And of course, you can see some of these awkward moments where they're trying to, all these fan accounts. These fan accounts are the most cringe thing on the planet. These stan accounts on Twitter, where all they have is profile pictures of the characters from the games, from the movies, thinking about Bella, looking at Isabella's lips at The Last of Us Season 2 premiere, because same. Sorry, it's exceptionally loud, guys. I apologize for that. Again, the poor girl looks like a human potato. I don't understand why they thought for Ellie that she was a good fit. I don't understand it. But then it gets better, because Pedro Pascal can't just simply leave the show and let bygones be bygones. He has to continue with his political screeing all over the internet. I don't know if any of you guys saw this article. This was from a few days ago over on Variety, because Pedro Pascal apparently was in a new movie on, I think it was an A24 movie, with Joaquin Phoenix, where he says, "F the people that try to make you scared when asked about the U.S. political chaos. Fight back, don't let them win." Now remember, this is a guy who has already been very political in the past. Disney gave him a pass when he was working on Mandalorian Season 1, when they canceled Gina Carano, despite the fact that he and her both had, I would say, differing takes on politics. Gina Carano's was much more subtle and mundane. His was much more inflammatory. But despite this, he got to keep his job and Gina Carano didn't. So again, him coming out and trying to make a political statement about something isn't really surprising. He says, so keep telling the stories, keep expressing yourself, and keep fighting to be who you are. F the people that try to make you scared, and fight back. This is the perfect way to do so in telling stories. Don't let them win. And this is regarding Eddington, which is a film from A24, which is basically at the height of the COVID pandemic in May 2020, and it follows a standoff between a small-town sheriff, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and the mayor, Pedro Pascal, that sparks a powder keg as neighbor is pitted against neighbor in Eddington, New Mexico. Again, this is a guy who wants to seem like the good guy, but the dude is just completely insane with some of his takes, and we'll get to some of those in a minute. But following up on this, BuzzFeed has this article where I guess he tried to push Joaquin Phoenix's arm down because he didn't want Joaquin Phoenix to be seen doing something that looked like it might be a Roman salute. I'm not even kidding. So he actually got a hold of him and yanked his arm down. This is how, like, politically obsessed Pedro Pascal is. His buddy over here that was in a movie with him is just waving at people, and he goes, no, you can't salute like that. Like, absolutely insane. Of course, recently he has made comments towards J.K. Rowling, given the fact that she is very much anti-men being in women's spaces, go figure. But I believe Pedro Pascal alluded to her being basically like, again, the bad guys from World War II. Then, of course, to go back to 2021, and this is when a lot of fans raised the controversy between Gina Carano getting fired from The Mandalorian, but Pedro Pascal getting to keep his job. Again, he compared Trump supporters to, again, Confederates and Nazis, and all Gina Carano did was say, hey, maybe we shouldn't other people and, dehumanize people if we don't want to repeat things like what happened in World War II. But again, he's on the right side of the political aisle and she's not. Again, this is not the first time Pedro has done this kind of stuff. You see this shirt he's wearing here, and again, from another Stan account, somebody that has a photo of Pedro Pascal as their profile picture, where he's wearing this Protect the Dolls t-shirt. If I'm not mistaken, this shirt, this Protect the Dolls thing, has to do with trans kids, which again, not a thing, guys. You cannot be a transgender child, not a thing. This clip, I think, is especially weird. People have been trying to make this cute, but I think it's very, very creepy. Pedro Pascal suffers from anxiety, and when is nervous, needs to touch someone to calm down. Sorry about that being so loud. This is not something normal people do, okay? I'm sorry, you're almost, 50-year-old man? You're standing there next to a woman, and you're like, here, I need to take your hand. It's like, no, dude. No, that's just creepy. That's weird. Then it gets even better, because now on the last day of his filming on The Last of Us, he decided to put out the gayest video I think I've ever seen. Drew Hernandez says, yeah, Pedro Pascal must have been initiated in Hollywood Diddy style. We all know why he's getting cast in every single major role lately. For all you Marvel fans, this is your new Mr. Fantastic / Reed Richards. This right here, like I said, unironically might be the gayest thing I have ever seen. And the fact that this man continues to get these roles in Hollywood, it just tells you everything you need to know. Like, this dude, he just needs to come out of the closet at this point. Like, nobody would even be shocked or surprised. It's not even stunning or brave at this point. I have no words for it. People are obviously roasting him, saying he's Reed Richards. Again, like, WTF, what is going on? Gothics with, of course, the Why Are You Gay meme. And the funniest one out of all this is Gina Carano just yesterday tweeted this meme that said, when I know things, but I can't say anything because of the way I found out. And a lot of people down in the comments below are alluding to, like, wait, is this what we're talking about here? Are we talking about Pedro? It's quite amusing. It's quite interesting. But again, I think that, once again, The Last of Us Season 2 is definitely not getting review bombed. I think it's getting the criticism it deserves. I think, just like the game, people were stunned, surprised, shocked, horrified, disgusted with the way the story went. And of course, there is a skill, not even a skill, there's a quality difference between Season 1 and Season 2, much like Part 1 and Part 2 of the games, where fans who absolutely loved the first game, they didn't know what to expect when they played the second one, because it was such a departure from the initial, entry into the franchise. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Share your thoughts down below. What do you think about Pedro Pascal and all of this craziness? I'm going to be keeping my eye on this, because honestly, I would be shocked if they managed to get Season 3 and 4 without his involvement. Despite my own distaste for the man, he's basically the only draw that show had. So again, leave your comments down below, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.